The Princess and the Flower of Dawn. In a faraway kingdom where the sky always glowed a deep, serene blue and flowers never wilted, there lived a princess named Gul Baano. She was so beautiful that people often said, she is like the first ray of morning light, soft, pure, and full of promise. Her palace stood high upon a white marble hill, surrounded by a breathtaking garden. Roses, lilies, and wildflowers bloomed in perfect harmony, their fragrance weaving a kind of magic into the air. And every morning, before anyone else awoke, Gul Baano would walk through the garden, tending to each flower as though it were an old friend. Her touch made them bloom even brighter. Many princes came from faraway lands to ask for her hand in marriage. They brought gold, jewels, and the most extravagant promises. But Gul Baano refused them all. She had made one rule. I will marry only the one who brings me my favorite flower, the one that lives in my heart. No one had ever guessed it right. The flowers they brought were beautiful, but never the one. One by one, they left the kingdom disappointed. Gul Baano, meanwhile, lived happily in her fragrant little world. One early morning, Gul Baano slipped down a hidden staircase into the garden. She wore a soft green dress, her hair loose, and she looked like a delicate bud about to bloom. She brushed soil from the roots of the plants, straightened stems, and whispered to the smallest seedlings. No one in the palace knew she did this. If they did, they would have rushed to bring her gloves and a parasol, insisting, these are not tasks for a princess. But Gul Baano knew flowers weren't meant only to be admired, they were meant to be cared for with your own hands. That morning, she went toward a smaller garden enclosed by low walls, where pale blue, pink, and white morning vines curled upward. These flowers opened only at dawn and closed by mid-morning. She clapped her hands in delight and hurried toward them but stopped suddenly. A young man stepped out from the shadows. He wore simple white clothes, a flute slung across his shoulder, and a sword tied at his side. Good morning, he said with a playful smile. So you, too, like flowers in the morning? Looks like we're the only ones who know how precious these hours are. Gul Baano frowned slightly. How did you get in here? No one is allowed in the princess's garden before sunrise. He laughed softly. I heard about that rule in the village. But honestly, it's a foolish one. If the princess doesn't know the best time to see her own garden, then perhaps someone needs to break the rule. And you? Aren't you breaking it as well? Gul Baano hid a smile. I'm the princess's closest friend. She allows me to come here. Then perhaps, he said, you can share that good fortune and keep my little trespass a secret. He told her his name was Aazaad, a traveler from a distant land. He was a collector of rare herbs and flowers, and had earned his living in many ways, playing music, healing the sick, even guarding caravans. He had slipped into the garden the night before, drawn by its fragrance, and spent the hours wandering among the blooms. The next morning, Aazaad searched the garden for Gul Baano. He found her among the lilies, a single white lily tucked into her hair. He smiled. Yesterday, he had thought he knew her favorite flower, but now, it seemed she had chosen something else entirely. You're hard to read, he said. Gul Baano tilted her head, a teasing sparkle in her eyes. And that's exactly how I like it. Aazaad stepped closer. I have no garden like yours. But if you come with me, we could make one together, a place where no one could stop us, where we could build our own little world. She shook her head gently. I can't leave. The princess would be lost without me. This garden is my home, and I will stay as long as it blooms. Aazaad's voice softened. Then I will stay, too. I'll petition the princess to take me as a healer or musician, so I can remain close. She hesitated, then smiled faintly. The princess accepts only the best. You'll have to prove your skill. They sat by a tree where a clear stream flowed. Aazaad lifted his flute and played a tune so tender that Gul Baano clapped her hands in joy. But before he could say more, she slipped away into the deeper paths of the garden. The following day, Aazaad found her among the roses. A scarlet bloom was tucked in her hair, matching the flush in her cheeks. But her hand was bleeding from a thorn. Without a word, Aazaad knelt, found a healing herb nearby, crushed it gently, and wrapped her finger with a strip of soft cloth. This will heal quickly, he said. It never fails. Gul Baano smiled, her eyes unreadable, and once again vanished into the garden's winding paths. On the third morning, she sat among the lavender in a turquoise dress, the scent surrounding her like a dream. The princess wishes to learn the flute, she said lightly. But first, she wants to see how good a teacher you are. They sat by a marble fountain, the water whispering as sunlight broke through the leaves. He guided her hands on the flute, their laughter mingling with the notes. Then footsteps. Heavy, deliberate. She slipped away just before the palace gardener appeared, his face stern. Who was the girl with you? What were you doing here? Aazaad refused to answer. The gardener's temper flared. Soldiers came. And before Aazaad could resist, he was taken to the palace prison. That afternoon, he was led into the grand hall. Blue ceilings, rose-pink walls, a green carpet stretching toward a golden throne, and upon it, Princess Gul Baano herself. Aazaad froze. The girl he had met among the flowers was no mere friend of the princess. She was the princess. She was dressed in shimmering silk, her eyes alight with something between mischief and triumph. At her side stood Prince Ruslan, a proud suitor from a neighboring kingdom. He had come to offer his riches and his heart. But Gul Baano refused him with calm dignity. My heart is already here, in my garden. Whoever finds it will have my hand. It is hidden within a single flower. The one who knows it will be the one worthy of me. Aazaad understood at once. The gardener accused him of trespassing. Gul Baano asked who the girl had been. Aazaad met her gaze and said softly, I will tell you, but only if you ask me yourself." The hall murmured. Prince Ruslan scoffed, calling him a mere wanderer unworthy of the princess. Gul Baano silenced everyone. "Let him speak." Aazaad laid his flute and sword at her feet. "I have no treasure, no kingdom, only my courage, my music, and my love for the one who truly knows flowers." Prince Ruslan laughed coldly. "Then prove you are worthy. Fight me." The duel began. Steel clashed. Sparks flew. In a final strike, Aazaad sent Prince Ruslan's sword spinning into the air. The court erupted in whispers. Gul Baano's smile was small, but her eyes glimmered. "You've shown your bravery, but one test remains. Find my heart, the flower I love most." Prince Ruslan searched that night, desperate. He found a white jasmine glowing in the moonlight, certain it was the one. Meanwhile, Aazaad stood by his window, looking at the moonlit garden. He remembered Gul Baano among the lilies, roses, and lavender, but something tugged at his heart. Then a soft breeze lifted a vine to his window. A tiny morning glory peeked in, petals shaped like a heart, shimmering with the promise of dawn. He knew. Morning came. Prince Ruslan presented his jasmine, wilted and scent heavy from the night. Gul Baano shook her head gently. "It fades too quickly. Its perfume weighs on the mind. You have not chosen wisely." Prince Ruslan left the hall in silence. Aazaad stepped forward, cradling the delicate morning glory, still wet with dew. "This is your flower," he said softly. "It blooms with the day. Its petals are shaped like your heart. It is fresh, gentle, and never tries to outshine the morning light." Gul Baano descended from her throne, her smile radiant. "You know my heart," she whispered. "And now it is yours." As a token for breaking the kingdom's rule, Gul Baano decreed that Aazaad would serve for 1 year and 1 day as musician, healer, and guardian of the royal garden. After that, he would become her prince, ruling beside her over the kingdom of flowers. And so, every morning, they met in the garden, tending their blooms in quiet companionship. No one ever knew their secrets. Only the flowers did, and they whispered the story in the rustle of petals, a tale for those who rise early enough to hear it. Moral: true love is not found in grand gestures or riches, but in the quiet understanding of someone's heart, and the patience to nurture it.